Am I good enough to be a professional artist or at least make it in the animation industry? As a self-taught artist and animator behind Studio De Laron, a channel dedicated in sharing with you everything. Wait. We're not doing the intro yet, guys. But as I was saying, as a self-taught artist and animator, it's very hard for me to gauge whether or not I am good enough to be part of the industry I want to work at, which is the animation industry. So, I decided that I will pay $400 to a professional artist to know exactly where my art skills are at and see whether or not I am worthy to be part of the animation industry.
I'm excited for you because I definitely think the passion is there, and I do think you have some good skills.
Welcome back to my channel, guys, and if you're new here, my name is RJ and I'm a self-taught artist and animator behind Studio De Laron, a channel dedicated in sharing with you everything I'm learning about art, animation, and drawing. So, if you enjoy the content I'm creating, feel free to like and subscribe. It's free and you can always change your mind later on. So, let me take you back in the first week of October. The project I'm trying to work on for this class is basically like I want to create some sort of a music video trailer. When I look at my boards and just exported it as individual boards, it doesn't make sense. So I'm like,
let's put it this way. If you were trying to get a job and you were to show your board to someone at CTN or something, you don't want to have to explain too much to them about what is going on. You want to make it as clear as possible. And I don't want to put pressure on you to think that this is how the mentorship is going to go. But I do think that if you're trying to make a portfolio piece, clarity is huge.
So I was in this class at this time, and this is kind of like a class where professional artists get to review works by students, and they're giving them feedback and critique for the work they have submitted. Now, I am only at the audit version of this class, which means I'm only able to witness but not get my work reviewed. So I was asking Jarrell whether or not I am allowed to submit an animatic instead of a storyboard. And right off the bat, I can already tell that he has a lot to offer in terms of feedback. So I was really excited for it and decided to pay $400 to be part of the review session the next day. I already have an idea I'm working on, which is I want to create a storyboard scene or an animatic scene of an existing story lore by Dream SMP.
Because they come every couple hours.
You can do it, Dream.
Make sure you're looking out.
All right. Yo, you get.
You're going to have to talk me through this one, I think.
Okay, yeah, this is basically kind of like a trailer I'm doing about the story between like that I kind of like just adapted from YouTube. So basically there are two characters in a prison cell, and like the switch between those two characters, what is happening between them, and the kind of like visitor arriving is kind of like that's what I was going for this particular sequence. It's like, okay, I'm showing them. I don't know if you heard the music, but there's kind of like I match it with the music as if kind of like, okay, bam, 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 bam. So yeah, kind of like I wasn't really sure if I was doing it right. First and foremost, that pitch was horrible. I was terrified because this is going to be the first time that a professional artist like Jarrell would be seeing my work, and I'm also being shown to other students. So you can already tell how nervous I am pitching that, and I don't know, I had a lot of and I was really nervous.
I can tell that you're trying to create tension between them being on a tight schedule and this guard getting closer and closer, right?
Yes, that's what I was going for. But I have to
Yeah.
explain that thing. I
Yeah,
have to tell
and that's the thing.
Yeah.
I can't think of one prison guard. I mean, I don't know a lot of them personally, but but I don't think a lot of them are softly, gently brushing the walls of the prison.
Yeah.
All that to say, finding some good shots to say, we are in a prison, right? It's a wide idea. We're in a prison. A slightly less wide idea, let's focus on this one cell. And then another idea, and there's two people in the cell, and there's a hole. There's someone digging the hole. They look like they're in a rush. One of them grabs the cell bars and looks as far as he can down the hall, and they hear footsteps, right? And then you cut to footsteps in the hall. And then you cut back to the guy. Dude, they're getting closer. We gotta hurry up. And then you cut to the guy in the hole. I'm going as fast as I can, man. You know, like there's a rhythm that is gonna help the audience clue in. And you don't need dialogue for that. This can all be done visually.
But yeah, despite of me feeling a little bit anxious and nervous during this time, Jarrell really gave me some ideas on how I could improve the sequence of my shots. And what I really like about this particular review is that he brought a very good example that I could learn from, which is this next clip.
The big thing to me is intention. Every shot in your scene has the opportunity to give information and make the audience feel a certain way. When you're able to clue in, how do I want the audience to feel? I want them to feel nervous. I want them to feel rushed, like they don't have enough time. Well, then that takes your 1,000 options for cameras and it turns it into 5.
Whoa! That information that I learned just there was a real game changer because it changed the way I think about how to make what I was trying to make, which is a storyboard sequence or animatic. So I decided to scratch everything I just did and throw it away and redo the whole scene and start with basic beat boards or basic thumbnails that would make it simpler for me to be able to tell the story that I am trying to tell. So these are the beat boards and thumbnails I submitted in next week's class. However, I knew that I was gonna meet another mentor to review my work, and I was terrified because I was gonna have to do the pitching again.
So basically, the story is there's a visitor that visits 2 prisoners, and like that's the basic story. Is like this visitor needs something from one of the prisoner, and he doesn't want to give it, and like they argued, and he was about to attack someone, like one of the prisoners, and then he disappeared. So like I was trying to make a cinematic trailer about that in my first pass with Jarrell, and yeah, it didn't work out. So
I see. Is this like he's like melting the bars here? Is that what's happening?
no, they're in a prison that's surrounded by a lava.
Aha.
Yeah, at that point I really don't know how to draw lava.
I think you did a really good job of going back, starting over, and reconnecting with your story. But I think this is somewhere in between like a thumbnail and a beat board, especially for a story this short, where it's like guy comes to a prison, guy's already kind of digging himself out of there. The guards come, there's a scuffle, and a guy disappears. I mean, that's kind of like the beats of your story. And if I was to think of it that way, I mean, within those beats, the guy getting into prison, maybe that's like one scene, but the beat of like the guy digging the hole and he's working with the pig face guy.
Did he just call Technoblade the pig face guy?
Even here, just looking at these beats, it gives you, for me, it gives me a sense of like, okay, well, how much story am I actually telling? Where's there room for like character? Where's there room for me to kind of say more than kind of just what's on the page of this lore, which is guy goes to a prison, goes downstairs, there's a guy digging a hole with his buddy. Okay, this is the plot of my story.
How hard can it be to just animate or create a storyboard sequence of Quackity visiting Dream and Technoblade in a prison? Apparently, it's hard if you don't know what you're doing, and I really didn't know what I was doing. So as much as I was really down because of the feedback I was getting, I also knew that it's only because I knew nothing about filmmaking. And I really learned a lot from this particular review and last week's review on how you're supposed to think as a storyboard artist and how you can direct your drawings to actually tell the story that you're trying to tell. So it was at this point I was feeling a little bit defeated and let down because I feel like I was beating myself up for not knowing what I'm supposed to learn. But I knew that everything that I've been going through in these classes are all learning experience for me to be a better artist. So I got to work and redo the first part of this whole thumbnail sequence and cleaned it up a bit so I could present it in next week's class, which is another mentor. And this time, it was the boss of Rad How To class, Rad Seacrest, creator of Kipo.
Let's take a look at yours. And is this the back of a person's head?
Let me I don't see your screen, so just
Oh, I'm not sharing, that's why. That would help. This, for some reason, this cut is a little strange.
Mhm.
And I think it's simply because he's not moving. Like, typically, he would start moving away from camera.
Oh,
I don't know that I would cut. I would probably just follow him. There's no real reason to do the side shot. You don't get any more clarity from the side shot. It's like you can tell the guy's going towards them. I would just stay behind him. This shot, typically you don't make, on both of those shots, like that very first shot and this shot, you don't typically make over the shoulders where the characters in the foreground are so small. Like, typically, this guy's gonna be like that big.
a lot bigger.
Yeah,
Got it.
typically that's what that's gonna be. So you wouldn't typically do cut-ins for anything other than to accentuate an emotional story reason,
Mhm.
or you wouldn't do it just to show something.
Now, even though I was getting a lot of things wrong about my drawings, composition, and even shot selection, I was actually comfortable at this point because I knew I was only gonna get better with the feedback I'm going to receive. So I am at this point really comfortable of knowing the mistakes I was making. And Rad is giving me some tips and feedback on how to correct those mistakes.
You know, maybe this shot, you kind of see what is he thinking as he pulls up and stops. You know what I mean?
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Now you're seeing his reaction. And then I would have him come off and just start walking forward. Is he talking? You know, I don't know what he's going to talk about or whatever, but
So I don't need to cut basically on all these things and
no. If you go from this shot, I personally probably would have just done maybe the books in the foreground and we're in a slight upshot because he's looking at it, but this guy's just already here. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So he could turn and look and this guy can talk. I mean, it probably would be good to get all three of them in the first initial setup. So maybe it's something like the ground plane is here and he's holding this book and he's looking at it. And you get that this guy's sitting here and this guy's standing here. You know what I mean? And then he could just walk back and talk. And if you want, and then from there, if you wanted to cut into here, you understand where everybody is.
Okay. Got
So
it.
if you did this,
When he starts walking, can I kind of zoom in the camera just to emphasize, or should I just
like you
do
want
it?
to follow him back a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
you
he
can do that.
approaches the yeah. Okay. Got it.
It was at this point that I realized that all I have to do for next week's class is to apply everything that he showed me for the sequencing of my shots. But as simple as it may sound, I have one big problem. I was so done with this project that every time I try to work on it, I always feel frustrated. And I know that energy is something that most artists can feel whenever they're working on something for too long, and there's no longer passion or excitement that is kind of like felt for the project itself. So even though I had 10 days to actually work on the revisions I have to do, I procrastinated and did not work on it until 2 days before the next submission. But at the end of the day, I was able to get something out for my next class. And I knew this wasn't my best work so far. So I was ready for a lot of negative feedback for my class.
So this is a little confusing, and this is something I would keep in mind because I was noticing as I was clicking through your boards is So this is like a reverse. I feel like there's definitely a better way to figure out the staging. There's probably a better way to do this. Also,
Yeah.
they're both very close to the frame here. Definitely do a topographical, like the down shot, like figure out where everyone is, like if they're here and he's here at first, and then like figure out where your camera is gonna be, and then
Okay.
like, you know, how you want to shoot it, and like figure out the 180 line of like, I want to favor like, you know, whatever size you want to favor. There's like lava bubbles, right? And they're like popping, right?
Mhm.
And then like maybe as they're having this conversation, like we get this like, you know, this wide shot of them like in the little cell or whatever, and they're like having the top conversation, and the lava's starting to get like a little hot and things are happening. Take the ideas that I gave you and like and implement them, and then you know, I hate to say like start over.
Fourth review and start over.
One thing you could do is I would really just recommend doing like reverse boarding. Like, so basically figure out how they did it, like reverse board the sequences. And I feel like you'll learn more from doing that than anything else. Yeah, and like work on like building up your drawing. The thing is, like, your drawings I feel like are close. Like I feel like you just need a little bit more refining, like take some anatomy. Your anatomy is actually not that bad. You seem to have a good understanding of proportion. But I'm excited for you because I think like, I definitely think like the passion is there, and I do think you have like some good skills. You just got to refine those skills. I want to like encourage you because like, yeah, looking at your stuff, it actually looks similar to the stuff that I was doing in college, if I'm being completely honest.
Even if you tell me that I have shit, like at least I know where I'm heading at. Like if somebody tells me shit, then that just tells me that I need to improve more, and you know,
Yeah.
I'm always up for that, you know.
That's
But
good.
thank you very much.
You have a great attitude, so I love that. It'll take you far.
There you go, guys. I did not intend this video to be a little bit more motivational at the end, but I was really appreciative, and this was quite the experience I had with the mentorship program from these various mentors and professional artists. And I think at this point, it is very safe to say that I have a lot of work to do before I can even consider myself good enough to be part of the animation industry. So, let's get back to work, guys. And this mindset that I have to really grow as an artist, plus the valuable information that I got and tips on how I could improve, will always be with me as I go through my journey and continue moving forward in creating my first animated short film. So, is my $400 worth the price of everything I got? You tell me. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video, and there's a lot more classes that you can find in Rad How To class that can help you level up your skills. There are a lot of classes about storyboarding, character design, animation, writing, and even filmmaking that are taught by professional artists like TB Choi, Rad Seacrest, Chris Copeland, Andy Kong, and our very own Ethan Becker. Yes, Ethan Becker has a class that will start next week called Animation Bootcamp, and I signed up for it. I'm very excited to share with you everything I'm gonna learn in that class in some of the videos that I'll be creating in the future. So if you like the content I'm creating here, feel free to subscribe and hit that notification bell button so you don't miss a video that I share with you guys. Once again, thank you for watching, and as always, keep on creating so you can make this world more beautiful with your imagination.